Yo, what's up, my fellow pimps, players, and hustlers? Welcome back to the next episode of the podcast. A big announcement: I'm going to start posting these videos every other day because I really want to make sure the quality of these videos are really high, and I want to make sure that I have relevant topics that I think will really impact your life. I don't want to just keep posting videos. I can easily come up with topics off the top of my head, but I really want to give you guys potent material that I think is really going to help transform your life, really going to help you take you from whatever situation you're in, whether you're making no money or you're working a full-time job and you really want to quit your job. These lessons that I'm going to teach you are going to help you navigate out of your job, help you level up your life in all areas, and just help you think about the world in a better way, right? I think a lot of us need different mentors in our life that really help us kind of grow. And I'm not saying I'm a mentor, I'm a guru. I just think that there was this lesson I learned from someone the other day where it's like, don't try and hire someone who is making like $100,000 a month or like $1 million a year. They're way too far away from you that they don't understand. Like, it's been so long since they've been in your position, it's hard for them to really help you. Try and find someone who's making 10K a month or 5K a month to give you advice, because they have just done that and they're so close to where you are. They're going to give you more potent advice that's really, really relevant to right now. And so I'm making a few $1,000s a month. And so if you're really trying to, from freelancing, right, not from a full-time job. So if you're really trying to get to that level, I think listening to the advice I have can help you get to where I am. And then once you get to where I am, then you can hire mentors doing 10K a month and like 30K a month and 100K a month and then $1 million a year or whatever. That's my goal. My main goal right now is to actually get a mentor who is doing what I want to do. I do have Hustlers University 2.0, which I am going to keep staying in, but I think I'm going to get a mentor who's able to help guide me and give me more personalized feedback. Because while Hustlers University is great and there's lots of tutorials, it's hard for me to get personalized feedback because the professors are so busy with thousands of students. And I mean, you're paying $50, so you're going to get $50 service. Like, let's be real. So I really want to have someone that can come with to questions and errors and things. And I'm like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Like, why is this not working? What do I do here? So anyways, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is going to be transitions and managing transitions and what the fuck are transitions. So I find that a lot of people have trouble getting into doing deep work or getting into doing a lot of like work for clients, right? And I call that transitions, right? There's periods in your day to day where you have transitions, whether you're transitioning from getting out of bed to then getting up and moving, transitioning from moving to then sitting at the computer and doing work, and then doing work, and then once you're done with work, transitioning into going for a walk, and then come back from going for a walk to transitioning to eating. And there's all these little transition periods, and how you manage those transition periods really guides the amount of energy and intention that you put into each activity. If you can really manage those transitions, you'll be able to be a lot better, right? Because a lot of people, they have trouble doing hard work or starting a project. And for me, it's the same thing. Every time it's hard, but you have to learn how to make the transition more smooth. You don't actually hate doing the hard work, because as soon as you start doing the hard work, you get really focused and really engaged, and you actually feel really good after. It's just your brain doesn't like transitions. Your brain likes doing the same thing over and over and over, and it likes homeostasis. And so when you're laying in bed, right, it's not that getting out of bed is hard. It's just because there's a transition, you resist that. And so you think you don't want to move, but then as soon as you get up, then you feel fine. You're like, oh, I actually feel better. And then you feel great. But it's that transition period that is a problem. And so if you can manage those transitions, that's where you'll be really well. And so what you can do is, before you go into work, right, let's say you want to sit down and do a project for a client, what you can do is stop, think for a second, be like, okay, what kind of intention do I want to bring into this project? I want to make sure I'm very alert, aware. I want to bring positivity into this project. Like, really imagine like what you want to bring into this piece of work, and then just say, okay, cool, I'm just going to work for like 10, 15 minutes. Like, just do 10, 15 minutes of work. I can take a break if I need to. And many times, as soon as you start working, like an hour will go by and you'll be like, oh shit, like, what the fuck just happened? Like, it's so easy to get tunneled in. And you need to learn how to get focused. And a lot of that's going to come from getting rid of your phones, getting rid of all these other things that are distracting you. And I think as you start to manage the transitions and bring the intentionality, so let's say you have like a sales call for the day, right? A lot of people, they're like, well, like I don't know how to bring my energy into the sales call. So what I'll do before sales calls, I'll imagine like, okay, this person is just meeting me for the first time. What are the emotions and the things I want to convey to this person? I'm like, okay, cool. I want to convey that I'm a trustworthy person. I want to convey like energy and enthusiasm. I want to convey that like, and I close my eyes when I do it. That's why my eyes are closed. So I'll think about like, okay, cool. Like I want to, I want this person to think that I'm a trustworthy person and I'm respectable. And I think about all the things I want. I like energize myself and I'm like, cool. Let me bring that into the conversation. So I'm very intentional about what I do. I don't just run through the motions. And the same thing happens when you want to go to work out, right? A lot of people, they just transition straight from working right into let's go work out. If you stop and manage that transition period right before you get out of your car, just stop and be like, okay, what's the intentionality that I want to bring into this workout? What's the main thing I want to focus on? What's the intention that I want to bring? What's the energy I want to bring? Same thing when you go to hang out with friends, right? A lot of people, they have trouble like bringing the person that they want into the interaction because they're bogged down by their day. So what you do is you manage the intentionality. Like, okay, cool. When I hang out with my friends, I want to convey this. I want to be this. I want to be energetic. I want to be enthusiastic. I want to be charismatic. Same thing with your partner. When you go home, you're like, okay, cool. I don't want to be mad at my partner. Like I might have had a bad day, but I don't want to be mad or mean to my partner. So let's manage that. Let's think, okay, what intention do I want to bring when I go into the household and speak with my partner? Okay, I want to bring this and I want to bring that and I want to bring this emotion. I want to convey this. If you do that, I promise you'll really kind of change the way you do things. But you have to do it for more than just a few days. You have to do it every single day. And as you get better at managing those transitions, sure, there's gonna be some days where you don't want to do work. That's just common. But what happens is because I manage my transitions, when I actually go to do hard work, it's very easy. It's like a smooth slide for me to be able to just start doing hard work and then things work out really well. Cool. So I'm going to change locations and talk to you about the next topic. Peace. Yo, welcome back to the next part. Cool. So in this part, I want to talk about state transference. This is an important concept that I learned when I was learning about dating, right? Because what would happen is you would talk to a certain woman that you're really interested in and you'd be really anxious, right? Because you're like, well, what am I going to say? Does she like me, et cetera, et cetera. And what would happen is you'd be very anxious and it'd put the girl that you're talking to in an anxious state as well, because there's this idea that we have mirror neurons in our brain or in our body where we mirror what the other person's doing. So if we're acting a certain way, our body has mirror neurons that cause the other person to think a certain way. Now, why was this important? Because what would happen is, say you're hunting with your tribe, right? And someone has an anxious face because there's a fucking bear right over there. Well, you didn't have time to communicate to the person next to you that there was a fucking bear right there. So you would get an anxious look on your face. And what would happen is the person and your other person in your tribe would see that and they would instantly get anxious and be like, whoa, what's going on? Because they knew something was wrong. That's how mirror neurons came about, from my understanding. And so what happens is when you talk to a woman and you're very anxious and you're very nervous and you're acting a certain way, it puts her off and it puts her in an anxious state. And this is very important for sales or business or networking or meeting women, whatever area you want to put it into. You have to be very thoughtful of the energy and the vibe and the state that you're going into when you're speaking with people. You have to go in with a very enthusiastic state. And that's why I said earlier about the whole doing the transitions and managing your transitions. If you come in with a good state of how you want to be, that's going to transfer over to the person that you're talking to and how you want to interact with them. So if you want to have a good conversation, you want to be filled with energy, enthusiasm, charisma, respect, trust, etc., comfort, that's how you do it. You manage it by figuring out how you want to be, regardless of how your emotions are. You just decide, and you know what, I'm going to be in this energy state. I want this person to feel this way. And I'm going to go in that way. And when you go in that way, speaking to someone, it puts them at ease and allows them to have the energy that you want them to have. And that's very important for when you're doing sales, because when you're doing sales, you want to lead the conversation in a certain direction. If there's certain emotions that you don't want in the conversation, that can become problematic when you're speaking with someone, because they start, let's say they start getting very anxious or trying to amp the conversation up and they start pressing you with questions. You could get anxious and then that's going to transfer onto them. But if you just remain calm and say they start amping the conversation up, what you can do is you can mirror that. You can mirror the fast pace and then slowly, as you start talking, drag the pace back down. But you cannot have someone who's running at a fast pace and then you just come in slow, it's a weird grinding feeling. So when someone's coming in very, very fast, they're like, I'm not sure about your product, it seems very sketchy, And you're like, oh man, yeah, I totally understand. Like tons of people come in like that. They're they're super uncertain about things. And as they kind of work with me a little bit, then they start to gain trust. We start to build this relationship together. See how I started out fast and I started to slow it down. So that then when they start to talk again, they're going to start speaking slower, and that's causing their heart rate to go down. They're causing them to not be as anxious. And this is very important when you're on sales. These are like unconscious things that are happening at the moment that you have to be aware of. So I just want to talk about that today. I wanted to talk about how important it is to manage your state, manage transitions. Think about how you want to present yourself when you speak with people. Think about how you want to network. Think about the emotions you want to convey, the ideas you want the person to understand, etc. That will change the way that you interact with people. It will change the way you network. It will change the way you do sales. It will change the way you operate in business, etc. So anyways, if you think that was interesting, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Ever heard of these ideas before? Have you heard of Neurons? I want to actually hear if you've heard of them before. And if you want to join a group of hustlers, people that are teaching you things like sales, marketing, e-commerce, all these different things, crypto, how to trade crypto, all these different topics they talk about. You can learn from professors that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. They're killing it. They'll teach you everything they know, and you'll be in a group filled with other hustlers where you can learn different topics. Click the link in the description and you'll learn more about how I was able to go from $0 to $8,000 in my first month of being in this group. So anyways, take care. Have a good day.